Yo, you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another TNI news video. Now we've got a lot of things to cover today, and I do mean a lot, including new Marvel Legend reveals that were made this morning during Hasbro's live stream event. Now if you're just here watching this video for the Marvel news, you'll want to fast forward towards the end of the video. It'll be the last thing I talk about. But we do have a lot of other pretty interesting things I wanted to share with you today, so you may want to watch the whole thing. You know, it's really up to you. And let's start off with some Neca news. So just today, Neca released this teaser image for what appears to be another one of their Kenner-inspired Aliens figures. So this one specifically looks like is based on the old classic Panther alien figure that Kenner did back in the day. And Salome is dropping in, everybody. But if you're into the Kenner stuff, now Neca has not really given any other details. They just released this one image. So as far as release dates or where it'll be available and stuff like that has not yet been announced by them. But I do suspect that information will be coming soon. And again, if you're into, you know, the Neca inspired stuff that they've been doing for the Kenner line for Aliens, I think this is one you'll want to check out. Also this week, Neca released official images for the second prop replica that they're doing based on Batman. So last year at Toy Fair, they had announced that they were doing some Batman prop replicas. Just a few weeks ago, they announced or released official images for the first one, the Batarang, which has actually started hitting shelves now. And now we've got official images and details for the second prop replica that they're doing. This one is specifically based on the Batman Arkham Knight video game, and it is based on Nightwing's signature Escrima Sticks. So you would have to buy two if you want two sticks like Nightwing uses. They are sold separately. They only cost about 35 bucks though. They have lights, they vibrate when you're using them, they're retractable. So, you know, if you would like to cosplay like Nightwing or something along those lines, then you might want to check these out. Now, these are available for pre-order at places like our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store. And again, they're going to cost you about $35. Neca this week released this teaser image for some type of upcoming Ash product. So based on Evil Dead, you know, it's his weapons, his chainsaw and things like that. No specific details, whether this is a figure, an 8-inch figure, a 7-inch figure, you know, which movie or series it would be based on. Maybe it's even some type of accessory pack that they're going to do. Again, those details have not been made available. We just got this one image. But once those details are available and we get more images, I'll be sure to pass the information on to you guys. The final thing from Neca this week is they released some official images for their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series box set featuring the 4 turtles in disguise. Now the disguises are actually removable on these. The trench coat is a soft goods material, as are the pants. And then you get alternate heads, and one of the set of heads are those masks that they would wear in the cartoon when they wanted to go out in public and look like humans. You also get all their weapons, things like pizzas, Pete the Pigeon, and a boombox, a skateboard. So the thing's chock full of accessories. Now I've talked about this box set before. The DCPI number for it actually slipped out several months ago, so I'll have that in the video description below. This set is likely going to cost around $99. That's based on the store tags that were discovered for this set, again, you know, several months ago. And I don't have any kind of specific release date, probably within the next month or so. It will be a Target exclusive, at least at physical stores. Now, as far as online, Neca has made some indications. They said they didn't know exactly how it was going to be released online, so I don't know if it'll be released through their website or through the Target website. Probably the Target website, but again, it seemed like that was maybe a little unclear. But again, this is definitely a Target exclusive. It'll cost 99 bucks and should be out in the next month or so. Mezco Toys has announced their Toy Fair plans, and I'll put a link to their itinerary for Toy Fair. They're doing some stuff over the course over, you know, a couple of days. And of course, like they always do, they're offering an exclusive set. Now, normally these would be offered to members of the press, though I remember last year they started selling them online, which, I don't know, kind of defeats the purpose of a Toy Fair exclusive. But in good keeping, they are continuing that trend, and of course we're going to be getting, you know, one of their unique 112 collective figures based on this Kurg character, which they're doing several different versions of in different colors. This one is going to be in black and is chocked with a lot of accessories and everything. The exclusive set is also going to include a Popeye figure, which is part of their 5 Points of Articulated line. And then you're going to get things like patches, iron-on patches, pins, stuff like that. But the two main things as far as figures go are the Popeye and the 112 collective figure. Now this set is available for pre-order now on the Mezco website, and again I will put a link to that in the video description below. And it's going to cost you, if you want to pick this one up, it's going to cost you $175. Now jumping over to McFarlane Toys, so just today we got official images and another rumor confirmed. This one I told you guys about back in October. Some overseas listings had shown up for it. It is a 2-pack featuring Superman versus the Devastator figure. So the Superman figure does appear to have a new head sculpt over the original Superman they released on single card. The Devastator figure, as far as I can tell, is pretty much the same figure, same head sculpt. Maybe the paint decos are a little bit different. But it is now being offered in a 2-pack, and like most of their 2-packs, you get that diorama type base, which is a little unique to, you know, this. It wasn't something released in the original 2 figures, the single releases of the 2 figures. The set has been listed in the latest issue of Diamond Previews magazine, so that would be an indication it'll be available everywhere, at least eventually. It may end up getting released at a big box retailer first at some point, but should cost you about $40. And at least through Diamond distributors, the set is going to be released in May. Though again, if it gets released through big box retailers first, we might see a little bit earlier there. And overseas retailers have been taking pre-orders for this set for a while, and I don't know when they'll start getting it. Also in DC Multiverse news, a new listing popped up on the Walmart website. No images have been made available yet, but it looks like we're going to be getting some type of variant or deluxe version of the Unchained Armor Superman figure that was released back during the first wave of stuff. So no details on this. Again, no images, just a listing on the Walmart website, but they're listing it with a $27 price tag. My guess is probably going to be $25. You know, sometimes when these stuff get listed on Walmart early, the prices are a bit messed up. But I'm guessing this is probably going to be similar to what they did with the Hellbat figure, where they reissued it in gold. The regular version was $20, but then this reissue version was $25. And so I'm guessing it's going to be something similar. Whether it's a repaint or has some additional accessories to make it quote-unquote a deluxe figure, I have no idea. But I do think this is something that'll be coming and quite possibly will end up being released as a Walmart exclusive. When more details do become available, I'll be sure to pass them on to you guys. Now, in other non-DC McFarlane related news, we got some new updates on the Spawn front. So this week, Todd McFarlane made a big announcement that he is launching a new Spawn universe in the world of comics through Image Comics. So what that essentially means is there's going to be multiple Spawn titles out there now featuring on various characters in the Spawn universe. He's essentially trying to create his own little, you know, essentially universe. And there's going to be a slew of people working on these titles. And I'll put a link to the entire story on the comic book aspect of the story in the video description below if you want to check it out. But there is some toy-related news here as well. Now, nothing still official. I've talked about before how an image had leaked out showing what appeared to be a new Redeemer Spawn and Cowboy Spawn figure. There was also back in October, Todd had announced that he was looking to do another Kickstarter, possibly based on a medieval Spawn. Just this week, Todd released a prototype image that looks like a big giant Cheeto and asking people if he wanted to, who wanted a new Violator figure. Now, in the announcement of the Spawn universe, and according to Todd, 2021 is the year of Spawn. He ended up showing off some figures. He didn't talk about the figures. As he was talking and showing these figures, he was talking about the comic books. But he was showing these figures, the Redeemer Spawn we got a new look at, the Cowboy Spawn. He showed images of a Violator and the medieval Spawn, which I think those are just old figures. I don't think those are new, but would be an indication, you know, that new versions are coming. So, you know, it's really unclear how these are going to be released, whether it's going to be a combo of Kickstarter and then maybe, you know, one-off releases, kind of like we saw previously. You know, last year he did the Kickstarter for the Classic Spawn, which was a huge success. I know people are still waiting for those. I believe they've been a little backed up at the ports, but those should be coming soon if you haven't already gotten yours. But then also, at regular retail, there was the Mortal Kombat 11 spawn and then the Mandarin spawn, which had a Walmart exclusive blue version and then a regular release red version. So I don't know if it'll be a combo again like that. Possibly the medieval spawn will be released as a Kickstarter, and then we'll see like the Cowboy spawn and the Redeemer spawn released at regular retail, or at least as like a store exclusive at Walmart or something. Again, those details have not yet been made available, but with Todd showing them off in his new video, it's almost a guarantee they are coming. And whether it's a dedicated spawn action figure line that will come to mass retail, hopefully well articulated, or again, whether it's a mixture of Kickstarter and just a few one-offs, throughout the year, we'll just have to wait and see. Super 7 has announced that they are going to be re-releasing their Thundercats Ultimate 7-inch scale Panthro and Lion-O figures from the first wave. These are being listed as variants, though they are essentially the same figures with maybe a few slight paint decos. But they did something similar with their first wave of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. I talked about that previously. And now they're doing it with 2 of the figures in the first wave of Thundercats. And essentially this is just a way to get folks these figures that perhaps didn't jump on the bandwagon when the waves initially went up for pre-order and stuff. Now, obviously, the Thunder Tank is coming, so if you didn't get Lion-O, if you didn't either have the Mattel version or you didn't get the first release through the first wave of Lion-O and Panthro, then you may want to get these if you're thinking about getting the tank. The tank is still available for pre-order. It's going to cost $450, and they actually just this week released a new walkthrough video, so if you haven't checked that out, I'll put a link to that in the video description as well. Boss Fight Studio has shown some early images for their upcoming Popeye figures. Now, they had announced that they were doing Popeye figures last year, but this is our first look at the figures. Now, these figures are said to be in the neighborhood of 5-inch in scale. I think very similar to their Sam and Max figures. You can see you get things like multiple hands and head sculpts and stuff. So the first wave is going to include Popeye himself, Olive Oil, Brutus, Pluto, and then Castor is going to round out this wave. So, if you're into Popeye, we've been seeing a lot of Popeye figures recently, mostly from Mezco with their 112 Collective and 5 Points line, but now Boss Fight Studios getting in on the Popeye game with 5-inch figures, which look like, we'll have decent articulation and everything. And no word on price or anything along those lines yet, or when those will be made available for pre-order, but those details will probably be coming soon. Diamond Select Toys is getting in the Hasbro game. They announced a couple of products that will be based on Hasbro properties. So it seems like that is a growing trend where Hasbro must be really kind of licensing out their brands to a lot of different companies, including Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Power Rangers. In recent weeks, we've seen companies like Super 7 and 3-0 announce products, and also Icon Heroes is going to be doing products based on these Hasbro brands. Now, for today, Diamond Select Toys announced a new statue bust, part of their diorama statue line for Destro. So Destro firing his rockets, holding the briefcase, looks pretty menacing, looks like, his classic look and everything. So that is going to be coming from Diamond Select Toys. And then they also, for Transformers, announced that they're going to be doing Mini-Mates. So Transformer Mini-Mates are coming. No word on whether they're going to do G.I. Joe Mini-Mates or Power Ranger Mini-Mates. Transformers doesn't do a lot for me, but I would really love to see some G.I. Joe Mini-Mates. And if you're not familiar with Mini-Mates, I would consider them kind of like Lego minifigures. They're about 2 inches tall. They've got, for that size scale figure, they actually have pretty decent articulation. So again, I'm not too much into the Transformers, and no, they do not transform. But I would definitely be interested in seeing some G.I. Joe. But for now, we are just getting the Transformers, and the first wave of Transformer Mini-Mates is going to include Optimus Prime. These are all G1 versions of the characters. So Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Starscream, and rounding out the wave is going to be Shockwave. And both the Mini-Mates and the Destro statue are available for pre-order now at places like our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store. On the Star Wars front, the only thing I really have for you today is Hot Toys released official images for their new Boba Fett figures based on the Mandalorian TV series. So they had been teasing that they were going to be doing Boba Fett from the Mandalorian TV series. So there is a single release of Boba Fett in his armor, the armor as it appeared when he first got it in the second season, where it was all dinged and scratched up. later on in the season, he cleans it up and repaints it and stuff, and it looks much nicer. And I suspect they will eventually do a figure based on that version as well. But right now you've got the dinged up armor version, and then you can also get a 2-pack that has that armor version and then the version of him before he actually got his armor, where he's wearing the black robe. He had the Sand Person's weapon, the gaffy stick. So you can get a 2-pack with those, and the thing is chocked with accessories. You get, for the Boba Fett figure, you get things like flamethrower effects, blast effects, and a jetpack. You get multiple pairs of hands. You get his weapons. He also comes with like a hologram thing, where in the season where he was showing Mandalorian his family tree, proving that the armor really did belong to him and his father. Then, you've got a little effect for that. You get the gaffy stick and the big rifle that he had before he got the armor. And you also get things like stands for both figures, rockets, the rocket fires and everything. So definitely chocked with a lot of accessories. Again, I don't really collect Hot Toys, so I probably won't get any of these. But if I did, I'd probably, unless I could just easily afford them all. But I would be more interested in like Boba Fett with his cleaned up armor as opposed to the scratched up. But if you are a big Boba Fett fan and you collect Hot Toys, then these will be ones that you want to check out. Now, the single release version is available for pre-order now at places like our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store. Now, I don't really have anything else on the Star Wars front to share with you now, but I will tell you that next week sometime, I don't know exactly when, it's not going to be Friday, so we're not talking like another Fan Friday reveal, but sometime next week, there should be a couple of new Star Wars reveals. I suspect it's just going to be something where images are released and they go up for pre-order, but look for that. I believe it's going to be one figure and maybe like a prop replica thing, so look for those next week. Now jumping over to Marvel. So before we get into all the Marvel Legend news, just once again on Hot Toys, while we're on the subject of Hot Toys, they just this morning released official images for a new Miles Morales Spider-Man figure, the 2020 version, which to me kind of looks like, looks like he's getting ready to go ride a motorcycle. Looks like he's wearing a motorcycle helmet and has a leather jacket on. Now, I do think, it looks like the chest lights up, which is pretty cool. And, the eyes, I think, maybe light up as well. And, things like that. He's got his tennis shoes. So overall, it's kind of an interesting design, but it's kind of cool as well. I think this is from the video game primarily, though it may have appeared in the comics as well. I'm not entirely sure. But somebody told me that you can get this outfit at the end of the game or something. So, this is coming from Hot Toys. It is available for pre-order now at places like our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store. And it's going to cost you in the neighborhood of $300. Okay, now let's get into the news that I think most of you are probably waiting for. And that is talking about the new Marvel Legend reveals that were made this morning during Hasbro's latest Fan Friday live stream. So it wasn't, I think some people were maybe expecting like a big Toy Fair level of reveals. I tried to warn you guys if you caught the live stream I did on Wednesday. I tried to warn people that I didn't think that was going to be the case. Toy Fair is not happening this year. It was canceled due to COVID. If it was a normal year, we would be essentially knee-deep in Toy Fair coverage right now, but it's not, obviously. They did indicate in today's video that April was going to be a big month for Marvel Legends, so, we might get a lot of reveals then, including, like, the rumored movie stuff and the Disney Plus stuff. I've talked about the first wave of Disney Plus figures already, as well as giving you some hints on the MCU stuff, including, the Warrior Thor from Endgame, Fat Thor with his actual outfit on, and then also there should be a Quicksilver figure coming based on his appearance in Age of Ultron. And then there's some listings that have been making the rounds on the internet, which have very hefty price tags, but I'm pretty sure I know what they are, but just kind of out of respect to Hasbro, unless they leak out from some other place, I will wait until Hasbro officially announces that, because I think those are going to be really cool, and your guys are going to be digging it. And even if you're not into the movie stuff, I think there's definitely going to be some cross appeal with some of that stuff that they're going to be announcing. And it's, kind of like they did with the MCU anniversary line. This is if I remember correctly, it's like called Infinity Collection or something like that, and it's all going to be movie based stuff. But again, those details, it looks like, are probably not going to come until April. But they did have some reveals today. They confirmed some more rumors that I've let you guys know in the past about, including giving the full lineup for the Bring On the Bad Guys wave, which we'll get into in just a moment. But they also had some new announcements that I'm not aware of, some more Walgreens stuff, which, you know, we already knew about the Silver Surfer, which is actually starting to hit now. Walgreens had it up on their website briefly the other week, and I'm not sure if stores here in the US have started getting them in, the physical Walgreens stores. In Canada, they're being released as EB Games exclusives, and I know EB Games has been releasing them. And then there are some places outside of Canada and the US that have been carrying the Silver Surfer as well. But they went on and gave us an updated image of the second figure in their line of Walgreens exclusives, which are all cosmic based. They had shown this figure before, but we just got some updated images, the package image and an image showing the accessories. So this is Classic Nova, and it's an updated Classic Nova figure, and he's going to have the floating helmet exclusive, or accessory, I mean, that goes with the exclusive. So that's the next figure being released at Walgreens after Silver Surfer, which should come out in early spring. And then the third figure, which we are seeing for the very first time that they announced, is going to be a classic version of the character known as Quasar, which this version is based on, you know, pretty much his 90s look when he got his own comic book series for a while, which I actually thought was really good. That's really how my first exposure to Quasar was in his own series, and I thought it was actually pretty good. So that figure should be coming out after the Nova figure, and according to Hasbro, it'll be out in late spring. Following those reveals, they then gave us a few teasers. They didn't tell us exactly how these two figures were going to be released. I suspect this one, the Civil Warrior, which is based on, you know, the app video game. I think it's Contest of Champions. They did a 3 3/4 inch version of this version of Cap before, and he's wearing the armor. So now he's getting the 6-inch treatment. Overall, a pretty cool look for the character. He's got the arc unibeam in the shield. So he's got kind of a unique shield as opposed to the regular Captain America shield. And they did not say how this figure was going to be released, but I suspect it's probably going to be some type of store exclusive. Maybe GameStop. That's where a lot of these video game type figures end up going to. If not GameStop, then maybe like Walmart, you know, and similar like they did with the Venomized Captain America. I don't know. But I suspect this will be, I don't know for sure, but I suspect this will be some type of store exclusive, and hopefully those details will come soon. The second figure that they teased for us is one that I have talked about before and should be part of the upcoming rumored Iron Man wave. So that is what they're calling AI Iron Man. I had called it, when I talked about it previously, hologram Iron Man. But essentially it is an AI version of Tony Stark. And then what they've done here is they've taken that kind of classic yellow and red Iron Man mold and given you a hologram Tony Stark head. Now there's also included a regular helmeted head. So if you want just that classic looking Iron Man, you can do that. So, you know, it's almost kind of like two figures in one. Overall looks pretty good. And that, again, even though they did not technically say, so it's not official, I do believe this is going to be part of the rumored Iron Man wave that I have talked to you guys about before. As I originally reported on, that wave should include this figure as well as the classic Ultron figure that they previously revealed. And again, while they revealed the figure itself, they didn't tell us how it was going to be released. But both that Ultron figure and this Iron Man figure should be in the Iron Man theme wave. And then the other figures that should be slated for that wave are some version of the modular Iron Man. And again, since I haven't actually seen these figures, I can't tell you 100%, but I believe this probably, you know, most likely is going to be based on that 90s look that a lot of you have been wanting. So the modular Iron Man, there's going to be Ironheart. There should be an Ironheart figure in this wave. There should be some version of the Guardsman released in this wave. There's going to be a Dark Star from, you know, part of the Russia team, so kind of weird for them to stick her here, but I guess they didn't really have any other place for her. So she is coming in the line. And then also there should be a stealth armor Iron Man in this wave, which, you know, I could even see them maybe taking this mold that they're using with the AI Iron Man and just repainting it as a classic stealth armor figure. But again, I don't know entirely what version of the stealth armor will be in it. Now, I don't know what the Build-A-Figure for this wave is. Now, sticking with that Russia theme, you know, with the Dark Star, maybe why they put her in there is because the Build-A-Figure will either be a classic Titanium Man or maybe a classic Crimson Dynamo. I would really love to see a classic Crimson Dynamo, but I have no idea what the Build-A-Figure for this wave is. You know, Dynamo and Titanium Man seem to be the favorites, but it could be anything. So we'll just have to see on that. But again, this AI Iron Man that they have officially announced, I'm pretty sure, you know, while we won't call it 100% until Hasbro officially announces it, I'm pretty sure we'll be part of that Iron Man theme wave. Then for the main reveals of the day, they went on and fully showed the Bring On the Bad Guys wave. Now, previously, they had only announced 3 of the figures for this wave. I later told you what should be the remaining figures in the wave, which should, you know, looks like turned out to be true. It was a little bit off on one. I had said one of them was going to be Hydra Supreme. It is kind of a Hydra Supreme version, but technically it is classic Red Skull, so I didn't have the specific detail that it was Red Skull, at least not until much later. I had been kind of teasing Red Skull. If you caught my live stream the other day, or, you know, follow me on Facebook and stuff, I've been kind of dropping teases. So previously they had announced 3 figures for that wave, which included Dormammu, you know, Doctor Strange's arch nemesis. They gave us a new updated image, or images I should say, for that figure, and I've got to admit, this is probably one of the coolest looking figures in the wave to me. Looks much better than like the concept art that they had originally shown for it. So I'm pretty excited for that one. The other figures that they had announced previously was the AIM Scientist Supreme, which is one I'm probably not super excited for, but if you're into army building AIM, you probably will definitely want to check that one out. And then the third figure that they had previously announced was Arcade. And again, we got some updated images for him, showing off both his head sculpts and everything. So another classic villain for both X-Men and Spider-Man. So while maybe not the most exciting looking character, I actually am pretty happy that they're doing him. And I'm actually going to circle back to Arcade in a minute, because there's a theory I have, a possible theory I have that I wanted to share with you. But going on with the rest of the figures in the wave. Now again, I had told you about these figures before, but now we have the official confirmations. So we're getting another Doctor Doom figure, which I had listed as Victor Von Doom. I didn't know exactly what version of Doom it was going to be, but it turns out it's going to be a white version based on the Secret Empire storyline, so in his white outfit. And with that, we're getting, basically, it is a skull and spine that is supposed to represent Thanos. In the comics, he rips out Thanos' skull and spine when they do clash with one another. So they've included that, and I believe they said the jaw on the skull was actually articulated with that. And, you know, if you're into Doom, that's one of probably my least favorites in the wave, but if you're into Doom, you'll probably want to check that one out. Next up, we've got Lady Deathstrike, which I know a lot of people have been wanting her, you know, to help complete their Reavers team, or just to fight Wolverine. So she is coming in the wave. I already told you about the classic Red Skull and his green jumpsuit, which will have 2 different head sculpts, have some weapons and stuff. So this might be the best looking Red Skull that they've done to date. I was kind of hoping that maybe it would have an alternate Von Stucker head. I think Von Stucker head would actually look pretty good on this body with the green jumpsuit, so they could have done one of those, give us 2 figures in one. But as it is, we're just getting 2 versions of the Red Skull head sculpt with this one. But, you know, again, I know a lot of people have been wanting classic Red Skull, and so I think they're pretty happy that it wasn't just a straight up Hydra Supreme like was originally suspected, and it is actually of Red Skull. Hood is in this line, so this, I don't know what's up with that expression, if he's screaming or what have you. Hasbro made some jokes about this is a Marvel Legend collector screaming at them, I guess. But it is Red Hood, or Hood, I guess is how they actually officially call him. And the hood is actually removable on the figure and such. And he comes with some weapons, with some magic accessories that attach to the weapons like you see him use in the comic books. Now, the Build-A-Figure was also revealed for this wave, and this is not something I knew. This was a surprise to all of us, and honestly, I don't think I would have ever guessed this one. And I'm going to butcher this character's name. I recognize him, but I'm not super familiar with him. but it's a Sasquatch type character. Zamut Menu, I don't know. But he is the Build-A-Figure for this wave. Again, not something that I was really expecting, but you know, again, I really had no idea what the Build-A-Figure was going to be. So I've been seeing mixed reactions on that one. So it is an obscure character. So, you know, if you like seeing them do obscure characters, then I think it's kind of cool that they're doing it. But I think there's probably a lot of other bad guys that were coming to people's minds for Build-A-Figure potential when they were thinking about this wave. So I don't know. But overall, you know, I think it's a pretty solid wave, and, you know, definitely has some winners in it. And, you know, even the figures that I'm not super excited about, I think look pretty good. So, you know, and there's a lot of new tooling in this wave as well. So the wave is available for pre-order now. It went up at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time at places like our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store. These figures continue to have the MSRP of $19.99. I've talked about how eventually this year figure prices will likely be going up to about $22.99, but this should be one of the final waves that comes out this year that has that standard $19.99 price tag. Okay, and then the final thing is, as they always do, they gave a teaser for an upcoming figure, and with it they just showed this sword, which I believe is the Excalibur Sword. So I don't know if they're hinting, seems like the most likely outcome would they would be hinting to some type of Captain Britain figure. Now we've already gotten a pretty modern, you know, Captain Britain figure based on Brian Braddock. It's possible we could get, you know, Psylocke took over the Captain Britain persona, so a female Captain Britain is a possibility. That's one that I've really been kind of hoping for. But the other possibility is maybe a classic, you know, Brian Captain Britain, and that brings me back to the arcade figures. So when I think of, you know, Captain Britain in his original outfit, I think of the classic story. It was a Marvel team up featuring Spider-Man and him. They met for the first time, and they ended up taking on Arcade. They went through the murder world and everything. So again, this is just completely a theory. It's not based on any kind of intel. So take this. I'm not telling you this is what it is. This is just something I could conceivably see them doing. And that is taking, if they were going to release a classic Captain Britain figure, maybe packaging it as a 2-pack and reissuing that retro Spider-Man figure, the, you know, updated Spider-Man that they did in the retro line that I know a lot of you have not been able to find. So it's possible maybe they, you know, or at least I'm speculating that it's possible that they could maybe do classic Captain Britain with Spider-Man, kind of recreating that classic Marvel team-up comic book. And to make it even cooler, they could take the packaging and kind of do it up like Murder World, so that you can then use it with like your arcade figure as well. So again, you know, just throwing that idea out there, Hasbro, if you haven't already thought of it, you know, if you're planning on doing classic Captain Britain, then, you know, that might be a cool way to do it and get that Spider-Man figure out to people who have yet to be able to get it. But we'll have to wait and see. You know, I can't even say for sure it's Captain Britain, but it definitely, that sword looks like it's Excalibur. Okay, so that's it for today. Now, I will probably be doing a live stream again this coming Sunday, starting around 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Almost definitely I will be. So we will be, the focus of that live stream, we'll be talking more toys, including Marvel Legends. You know, we'll go into more detail about the stuff revealed today, maybe talk about possibilities of things to come. We'll also talk about any other reveals that happen between now and then. So do tune in. Again, that'll probably start around 7:30 p.m. As always, leave a comment in the comment section below, letting me know your thoughts on everything I talked about today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. Stay safe out there, guys. Stay warm out there. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.